All right, welcome back to the 210 show. Today we're going to cover a couple different topics, but I'm going to introduce myself and pass it over to my colleagues. I'm Jay.
My name is Angry Joey.
I am the hater with facts.
This is Tony, and I'm basically the greatest fantasy football player of all time.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, so today we're going to try to cover as many topics as possible, but on the horizon, what we're going to talk about is Caitlin Clark, what her WNBA impact is, and some of the controversies that surround her. We're also going to talk about some QB contracts, the Tush push rule for the NFL, and the NCAA new CEO, commissioner, however they're going to do it. And then we're also going to get into a little fantasy football by the commissioner of our league that we're in, and it's going to go over punishments. Let me go ahead and just turn over to the first topic. Let's just get into this Caitlin Clark WNBA controversy. Okay. So me personally, I think that the WNBA is lucky to have Caitlin Clark, because who was actually watching any of the games before Caitlin Clark, right? I mean, if you think about it, not only that, she's the most talked about rookie. I think she's tough. She's getting fouled. She's getting beat up. And then when she does a hard foul on somebody, they want to cry and complain.
I'll echo that, just because, when before Caitlin Clark, I didn't even realize that the WNBA was still around, but she's actually put it back on the map. She really has. She's an extraordinary athlete. She's got incredible drive. She's just a overall amazing talent. So and it's very true, because she gets the crap beat out of her every single game, and she still comes back for it. And and she's still, she's amazing. She really is.
Not only that, but just look at her stats and what she's done in her second year in the league.
Yeah,
these teams literally have different stadiums for when she's in town. You know, it's crazy. It's not even a question. Obviously, the league is better off with her. She brings the revenue to every team. Aren't they changing the way they do shit just because of her?
Supposedly, but they still get, what do you call that, supported by the NBA?
Subsidized.
Whatever.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, the ratings have gone up, right? Think about the last game between her and Angel Reese. It was 2.4 million people actually watched it or something like that.
Awesome.
But the only reason why I'm bringing her up is because I just don't like the hate that's coming her way. For WNBA, they need to treat her like the golden goose.
Oh, yeah.
And how they treated Jordan in the NBA.
And that's true, because, she doesn't only get, shade cast on her from, other players, but the refs, they're not really giving her a lot of love either, man. It's interesting. And then ESPN reporters are throwing shade at her all the time, too. It's pretty remarkable. I don't get it, because, she's literally the best player in the league, and she's despised for it. I don't understand it.
Yeah. What about you?
Everything's highlighted, right? With her. So
true.
I don't know if she's despised for it, but
that's a good point, Tony.
There's no controversy is bad. Anything that happens with her is a good thing for the WNBA. So whatever.
Yeah, that's true. But she does get a lot of vitriol coming her way by coaches,
when
by
you're
former
great
players.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess Jordan got it too, but
For me, I don't, it comes with the territory, right? If you've got that type of hype coming into a league, you're putting your name out there, and none of it is her fault. It's all outside noise that is coming in to the WNBA that's bringing all the attention. And of course, when you have a hero, you got to have a villain, right? So clearly, Angel Reese is the villain. She deserves to be the villain. And stop flopping, Angel. Just stop it, okay? Let's start with that. But Caitlin, she's putting in the work. You can't deny what she's doing on the floor. She's clearly a team player. She's right now the league leader in assists. So she's not selfish in that way. As far as free throws, she is 14th in the league as far as free throw attempts. So that could go up a little more, but I'll be honest, I still don't watch enough WNBA, but I don't know how often she actually goes to the rim. So maybe that will bump her attempts a little bit more if she does.
I don't even know if that's much her game though, is it?
And that's the other thing about it too. So if she's a shooter and and she predicates on either mid range or 3-point land, then you're not going to have as many attempts, many free throw attempts. But I will say there's a lot of times where she's just bringing the ball up the floor and then she just catches one in the mush just because.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know how do you fix that. Like I hear what you're saying, Jay, as far as like making her the golden goose, but the fact that she's getting attention the way that she is already makes her the golden goose. I mean, think about it. Like, she's not getting the type of calls that you want her to, and she is selling out arenas everywhere, right? So it's already there. There's not much more that you can do. The only thing, and this is just me, I'm a big fan of Paige Beckers, the number 1 pick from this year. Big fan of hers. I love her game too, right? And I feel like that's the next step now. Instead of the self-proclaimed nemesis to Caitlin Clark that doesn't necessarily have the game to match Angel Reese, have somebody that really does have that type of game to make you pay attention. And I think she has that type of game. And of course, Juju Watkins from USC, we'll see what happens, how she comes back from. Yeah, she's a beast too, right?
Yeah.
Also, Paige's teammate, Agumbawale, she's really good too. She's a baller, right? So I think for her, as long as it brings more competition, especially at her position, to where it go one-on-one with her, that will help bring the game or elevate it even more instead of being this like manufactured hype that always comes around.
What I don't understand though is why the rest of the WNBA players ain't like supporting her or lifting her up, because that's also their meal ticket too, right? That'll create more revenue for them if they're smart and savvy business-wise.
But you got to be careful with that, right? Because they don't do that in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact,
they don't need to.
Well, right, but
because game recognizes game.
Understood. But how do you do that without watering down the product? What I mean by that is, if like, do you not? I'm not saying like being egregious, like with fouls and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. But what I mean is, I would rather have, what I'm saying, just going back and forth with you. Like, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, Angel Reese is a bad person to have as a direct rival to her because they don't play the same position. You won't have Angel Reese checking her 94 feet coming up the floor.
No,
you're not gonna have that, right?
No.
So you need somebody else who plays at her position, who is just as dangerous on the offensive end to make her work than somebody else who we don't know, getting threes busted in their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, to me, that naturally brings out the best out of both sides, right? And then that draws more attention every time they play. So just like Breanna Stewart and Angel Wilson, they're both, centers and power forwards, and they go one-on-one against each other. So that's the one-on-one matchup. So like, I'm thinking like maybe like Kelsey Plum and Caitlin Clark maybe, but Kelsey is a little bit on the elder statesman side of the age spectrum now, right? She's still good, but you're talking about like two future stars going forward, like Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about WNBA to let her know where does she rank as far as like right now in year 2, but my eyes, they don't lie to me.
Well, yeah, she's definitely good. When you putting up records in your second year for, I think, was it like most triple doubles or something like that? Like already, like, hey man,
yeah,
your eyes don't lie, right? You say games recognizes game. She's definitely got that.
Yeah, my wife is gonna be so appreciative that we talked about her first, Caitlin Clark.
Oh, that's good. Ladies
so
first.
Let's
right?
go from hardwood to gridiron. There's
Okay.
a couple things that are happening, and then we'll circle back, if we have time to cover the NBA playoffs. But we have a tush push conversation to be had.
Yeah. Here we
so
go.
who wants to lead this one off?
All right. Well, there's going to be some people that are going to be firmly against it and firmly for it. I don't know. Haven't played football myself. I kind of come from the old school thing, way of thinking. If you can't stop it, then shut up.
It's a single yard.
It's a single yard. Get your defense ready then. I do get it. When you actually have the likes of Jalen Hurts actually, doing this thing, and here's the other thing that I actually have to say. I simply remember other teams where running backs were literally thrown over the end zone by their own offensive linemen. I've seen that happen a couple of times. So how's that any different? I mean, if you're going to outlaw that, then maybe you should outlaw this. Now, I understand what my colleague to my left is actually going to say, in the sense that, I mean, the play was stopped because, the play was it should have been blown dead. There's some fact to that. I do believe in that as well. But at the end of the day, if you can't stop, was his forward progress really stopped? If he was actually, getting pushed from behind? I mean, that's a good argument. So me personally, I thought that it was kind of interesting how the NFL, the coaches actually went, what was it, 22-10 in the vote?
It was, 22 votes.
And
you needed 24 to pass.
Yeah. And they needed 2 more votes to actually vote this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
They missed it by 2 votes. It's a tough one to crack there, I mean, and obviously I think that it's no surprise that the Eagles were ones to actually vote against the banning, but
no way.
But there was some other ones that were actually kind of a surprise. And at least I say Detroit was very much a surprise to me.
Patriots.
And the Patriots.
Don't forget, this is the second bite at the apple, though, right? They modified it and be like, okay, well, we're going to modify it and propose it again.
Yeah. So for my take, I mean, I wouldn't vote against, I don't agree with the ban, to be just personally. But, I mean, I understand some of the arguments.
So let me tell you who saved the tush push. It was the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, New Orleans Saints, New York Jets, and Tennessee Titans.
And that was another one, the Saints. You'd have thought that, I mean, because their team is going to struggle this next year. So I would have thought that they would have looked for any advantage possible, but
well, who cares? Like, I'm glad they didn't do that, right? Like, all right, who cares if we're going to be good or not? It's a principle, right? NFL likes to get rid of stuff when there's safety issues. There is no safety issues with the tush push, in my opinion.
Point.
Has anybody ever gotten hurt? Actually, it's pretty safe. So all those teams voting against it are just jealous that they can't do it as well. That's it. Like, it's silly. I'm proud of those 9 teams or whatever it was that saved it, right? Like you said, Joey, if you can't do it, you just beat it. You know what I mean? Like, and then.
Oh, it says, how is that any different than any other team out there that's actually, putting up, a 60 burger on another team? If you can't, quit complaining if you can't stop us.
Yeah. So let me just point out a few teams who voted to ban it. First of all,
well, the other ones,
the Broncos were on there. My Raiders were on there.
Niners
and the Chiefs were also on there. And that just shows me, like, really, Chiefs, you bunch of, you should be able to handle that. You're going to vote no on that? Like, come on. Well, anyway, those are some of the teams.
Fun fact, though, the only team that voted against banning the tush push that actually plays the Eagles this year was the Lions.
Oh. Well, there you go.
So there's that too.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And the Dallas Cowboys voted to ban it as well.
Of course they did. Jerry Jones don't like it.
I'm with you. I'm with y'all. If it's 1 yard, it's not like they're taking it from the 1 yard line on the other end and doing a tush push all the way across the NFL football field to do another touchdown. No,
we saw Buffalo fail very bad at trying the tush push in the playoffs, right? So I guess come on.
Not every team can do it. As successful as the Eagles. They just happen to have a quarterback who can squat 600 pounds.
That's actually an excellent point there, Tony. I mean, the Bills, with the perennial quarterback that they have, that's a freaking giant, I mean, can't get the tush push to go.
And
isn't that more of an indictment on the freaking offensive line than it is, or the running backs?
Yep. The Bills also voted to ban it too. That's some shit.
That's funny,
man.
Yeah,
because they suck at it.
It's true too.
Y'all done?
Oh, go ahead.
Y'all done?
Okay, so we got our guy that's going to go against this.
So
one. Here we go.
Since I'm in the minority here, but only have 2 reasons why I don't agree with the league keeping this in play. The first is it's not consistent with the other rules that are similar to this and the other sides of the ball. On special teams, in the rule book, on special teams, you are not allowed, as the defense, you're not allowed to push another player into the line of scrimmage. You're not allowed to do that. If you do, you are penalized. So how is it that it is okay if you're on offense to actually use the momentum of another player or to restart the momentum of another player going towards the line of scrimmage, but you can't from the other side? That's number one. And number two,
that's easy. I can dissect it, but I'll wait.
Sure,
I'll wait.
And please, others that have, y'all played, I have not. So I just have questions in regards to the rule book and how that is. It's a little hypocritical to me. But the second point is literally in the name. Tush, push. Everybody keeps classifying it as a quarterback sneak. It's not. The quarterback sneak means that the quarterback uses his own momentum to gain yardage. You're literally getting help for someone from behind. So that specifically says that your momentum is stopped, but you're allowing the momentum of someone else to restart your momentum, and it actually counts as yardage. No other situation allows you to do that. So why is that allowed for, not just for any team? It doesn't matter if it's Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, don't matter. Why is that allowed when in literally any other play, you're not allowed to do that?
It's a forward progress thing. Forward progress happens all the time. You see linemen push.
Right. Linemen grab running backs.
Receivers, running backs, all the time.
Right. Yeah, to get him across the first down. I mean,
and that was the thing. That's why they modified it. The Packers were the ones that actually brought this up. And they modified it to not just exclude the quarterback. It was all positions. So I, as a Lions fan, I saw this happen. David Montgomery gets stopped by the defender. And they actually lifted him up, and then the other offensive lineman came back and actually shoved them forward another 3 or 4 yards, and it counted. So,
okay, wait. Let me just jump in.
Go ahead.
So when is an NFL play considered over?
When your momentum is stopped. When you meet
forward progress.
When the whistle blows.
Well,
even better answer.
Yeah.
When the whistle blows. So during these plays, is the whistle being blown? No, the refs and the NFL let them keep going. So I don't understand your argument.
No, it's hypocritical though. That's my thing. You're actually,
but there's no rule against it. That's what I'm trying to say. But if there was a rule against it, the refs would be throwing flags on it.
On offense, it is not. But on special teams, it is. That's what I'm saying. There's a rule. There's a rule that says that the defense in that case on special teams, they're not allowed to use the momentum of someone else into the line of scrimmage.
Versus offense is entirely,
it's all part of the game, right?
It's different though.
But it's all part of the game.
Special teams, number one, you have all these players line up all the way across the line.
Sure.
Right? When you're doing the offense, it's 11 on 11 down there in the 1 yard line.
Okay.
Vastly different than what a special teams play is. Vastly. You're not getting somebody a 50-yard running head start to come at your ass. Right?
No. Well, okay. That's you're talking about kickoffs. I understand.
Kickoffs, punts.
But I'm talking about like field goal attempts, punts, whatever. But the action that happens at the line of scrimmage, though, they specifically point that out, that a defense is not allowed to use the momentum of another or to shove another player into the offense. You can't do that. It is a penalty.
Are you talking about the long snapper? They're not allowed to push him into the long snapper
or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Over.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What I actually find is funny is there is hypocrisy on both sides. And that surprises me that Detroit would actually vote against it. And the reason being is, like you said, for, with David Montgomery or with Montgomery, my Broncos, they were guilty of it too. So I find it surprising that they actually voted against it. Because I sat there and watched Javonte Williams literally get picked up and carried by his own offensive line for 15 yards. Yeah, how's that any different? So right. I don't know what the right answer is here. All I know is if you can't stop it, then quit complaining.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only point that I make.
Or if it's so unfair, do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is what it is, right? So it's like, just be prepared for more referees to come out and say, if you jump off sides, then we will just award the point. So just go ahead and prepare yourselves for that. Because that's what we saw in the postseason last year. Is it like that now?
They just reward the point?
Well, that was the thing. It was in the playoff game. I think it was the Eagles and the Commanders last year. In the championship game. They were on the goal line, and they were going tush push, but they kept coming off sides. It was like 6 straight times. the referees are like, okay, if you do this again, we will just award the point to the Eagles. Moments like that, like, come on now. If we're at that point,
That was cool.
it's cool.
It was
No,
fun. I've never seen it before. It was fun.
but I'm saying like stuff. If you get to that where a referee has to turn into a preschool teacher, like, I'm going to punish you guys if you don't stop this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a problem.
Who was
to me.
mostly
like,
initiating the offsides?
Huh?
Who was mostly initiating the offsides? It was the defense. I saw one game last year where they were purposely jumping offsides.
I mean,
the defense.
Look, all I know is what you're going to end up doing eventually is they're going to bring a goon out there, much like how in the NBA you got the 11th or 12th man is basically a goon. Somebody's going to go out there and they're going to literally use themselves as a missile, get themselves ejected out of the game, but make a collision with Jalen Hurts and get him out of the game. That's what's going to happen. So just go ahead and prepare yourselves because that's what's going to end up happening.
Or they might have that big sumbitch, that 434-pound Tampa Bay. He's the heaviest player in all of NFL history. Did you ever?
No.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
Okay.
Draft him. He's 434 pounds.
Good Lord.
Oh, you know what? That brings up another point, right? So it's okay, according to the rule book, it's okay for the offense to shove a man into the line of scrimmage, but the defense can't. The defense, like the linebacker, can't go and shove. They can't shove the defensive tackle into the center. They can't do that. But the quarterback with the ball can have his offensive lineman or the running back.
Well, that wouldn't make any sense at all for a defense to be able to do that. I mean, why would they? Because they have to cover up all the slots. You know, there's no reason for them to. I mean, if they actually took a separate person and actually tried to shove them from behind, then that's going to leave them vulnerable in other positions.
One less guy to defend.
Yeah, that strategically wouldn't make any sense at all. So you can't make that argument.
So, okay.
Like take the stretch play, for example. Stretch to the right, offset, off tackle. Everything's being pulled. The linebackers are trying to shoot the gaps, but they can't. So what they're trying to do is occupy 2 or 1 lineman, right?
Yeah.
And then their other guys come either behind them or through the holes that they create. So,
but that's different from I am going to occupy this space, but then to gain leverage or gain yardage on that space, I'm going to have someone else. Now, yes, the risk involved is if they decide to pull it out or something like that, now you leave yourself exposed.
Now, also, to be fair, you know, when they actually see when a defense actually sees a tush push situation coming on, you don't think that they're pushing from behind too?
They are.
They are. They actually have their nose guard putting his helmet on their caps, and then everybody else is pushing from behind.
Yeah, they're taught the defense sector to basically put his face mask on the ground,
right on your shin guard,
right where the ball used to be. Boom. And if you watch the play, if you watch it carefully, you'll see basically what the interior and the defense that they all.
Yeah. It's like a diamond formation. Yeah. They actually the nose guard. He's actually going to spear that the center right in his kneecaps
as soon as that ball's gone.
And then the linebackers, they're going to come in over the top. It absolutely happens on the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll just say this. Again, I'm in the minority, but my last final point is it looks like rugby to me. It doesn't look like American football.
For one play, a couple times a game on the goal line or for 1 yard. Who cares?
Hey,
Rugby's cool.
Rugby's cool in Australia and Europe.
All I hear is Rico hates the Eagles.
But it's got nothing to do with the Eagles, man. Matter of fact, I'm looking forward when we play them. I'll be smash them anyway. But yeah,
is this what it feels like to be a Lions fan? Just like not have a hope sometimes and enjoy the game and losing seasons. I mean, now to your credit, your team. I'm with you. Your team did not.
This has nothing to do.
It's just.
This has nothing to do with that. I'm talking about the integrity of the game, man. That's all. That's it. It ain't got nothing to do with Detroit Lions or nothing. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's just the aesthetics, man. It's just
Jared Goff's a statue.
but honestly though, like we saw not last year but the year before, Jalen Hurts got hurt because of that, right? You don't want
whose fault is that?
Again, all I'm saying is you don't want, especially as much the quarterbacks are getting paid right now. You're putting the quarterback in extra risk.
No.
of getting hurt because of that play. Now, of course, everybody can't do it. You're not going to have Tua doing that stuff, right? You're not going to have Bryce Young doing it either, right? So,
or Joe Burrow for that matter.
Correct. You're not. Everybody's not going to do it. They say everybody can, but the truth is, not everybody's going to do it. Unless you're Jalen Milroe, because that's the only thing he's going to do this year. But that's a far.
I
another
still don't
topic.
see it as an unsafe play, though. I do think it's actually pretty.
Well, there's not a high collision thing.
It's pretty exciting too, right? If his game's on the line, they're trying to win.
I don't know if it's super
First
exciting,
time.
but I mean, what's the difference
enjoyed
between that and a sneak? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Well, there's no way the Eagles would have won the Super Bowl without being successful in their tush pushes. No way. And everybody knew it was coming, and no team could do anything about it. That's what I like the draw of it. Like, okay, you know, they can't do nothing to stop it.
So how do you stop it then?
Well, it's going back what we just talked about earlier, but you're going to have to game plan it, train it just like anything else.
It didn't hurt that the Eagles actually had a perennial Hall of Famer as center, with Kelsey.
Yeah. And then everybody thought they would be bad at it this year because he was gone. They were still successful, but they were only successful, I think, and not only, I mean, it's a good percentage, but it was like 82% of the time or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great, but it's not like it's a guarantee.
No, it's not. It's
It
whatever.
is like a half a yard most of this a lot of the time,
It's whatever. I don't like it, but there's other plays that are in the league that other people don't like, so it's fine.
Well, so speaking of I don't like it, let's talk about these QB contracts.
Oh boy, let's go.
Now this was
QB contracts. Elaborate.
Well, this was a Mr. Hater with Facts topic, so see what you say.
Well, first, just a general question as I bring out the numbers here, right? So just earlier last week, Brock Purdy was the latest in the quarterbacks to get a significant raise.
Did he win a Super Bowl?
No, he did not. He has participated in two. Participated in one, championship in two. So
don't even get me fucking sorry. You guys know already what you're doing.
We already have a 49er fan. We have a 49er fan amongst us, and I'm pretty sure he has plenty of opinions on this. But so just for numbers' sake, the top 10 in average salary right now, the average salary is $52 million a year. That is the average of the top 10 right now.
Damn. Top 10 quarterbacks.
Top 10 quarterbacks, yes. Purdy is making 53, so I believe he's tied with Jared Goff. And as far as the person who's making the most, that would be Dak Prescott, making 60 per year. $60 million.
I need to take a small break.
Okay,
go ahead.
You need a
that
drink.
was our
after hearing about all that
commercial
money.
break.
Hashtag not a sponsor. But now Brock Purdy is making $53 million. The average is 52.4 for the top 10. And the next 10 after that makes 43.5. So the question that I have for y'all, and I will let the greatest fantasy football player of all time speak on this first, right, given the fact that he is a 49er fan and his guy just got paid. So given the fact of what that contract does as far as your overall roster construction for your team, do you agree with what he got? And if not, what would be the alternative?
Well, I think the second part of that is the exact reason why you got paid. There is no alternative. What? You just hope and pray? Like, you have to pay. Unfortunately, in the NFL, you're just going to have to pay. You're franchise quarterback, and I do think he is that. I mean, the guy, take away that he was Mr. Irrelevant, right? He's been great. I'm pretty sure, like, his average, like, he has been, like, not a game manager, and that pisses me off when people say it because it doesn't make any sense. I don't think they watch Niner football if they say it. He throws the ball down the field. He makes explosive plays all the time. He's fairly athletic too. It's not like he's just back there.
Oh no, he's not a bum.
You asked, what's the alternative? That's exactly why we paid him. Nobody lets franchise quarterbacks go. It's just the price you got to pay nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we 53 was a good price point, right? Like, we didn't go nuts. We didn't pay him the most. It's not 65, because eventually one of these guys in the next couple of years are going to get 62, 63. You know what I mean? So in 3 years, it looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do?
I don't disagree.
Shanahan, Lynch still there. That's their guy, and let's go. Yes, we're in salary cap hell, which is why we had all those defensive players go, and we are in a bad position. But it was necessary.
Yeah, but a quarterback, I mean, you just can't not have one. Believe me, being a Bronco fan, I've been in purgatory for the longest time.
Being a Raider fan, I'm like,
until Bo Nix actually came into the scene, now we have a little bit of hope. We'll see how he does in the sophomore year. But, up until then, I think there was like 12 quarterbacks, since Peyton Manning.
Shit,
still
better than the
and
Raiders.
even then, the year that Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl, make no mistake, it wasn't because of Peyton Manning. Now he got him there, in the years previous and stuff, but he got at least. Let's not forget, what he actually did against the Seahawks in that Super Bowl. They got smoked. I mean, it was horrible to watch.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you, Tony. In the sense that once you find that special quarterback, man, the price.
Okay. Question though, where does his contract rank amongst the other quarterbacks? Is he like in the top 5 now?
He's top 7.
Top 7. Okay.
Yeah, he's number 7 right now.
Where did he rank last year amongst the quarterbacks statistically? Where do you rank? 11th. So he had
in what?
Just for Pro Football Focus, NFL. He's ranked 11th among 32 NFL starting quarterbacks.
Well, I don't know what that.
He had 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Is that worth $57 million?
We had
53.
Just saying. Is it worth it?
Yes.
Is that quarterback rating or what?
Overall for all.
I'm not sure exactly what that rating.
Did you see the Niners last year?
I watched maybe 2
We had
games.
Injuries everywhere, right? Like who was he throwing to? Yes, Kittle had a great year, right? And Kittle's a great tight end. He's getting older, but
Debo is
for half
hurt.
the year, Juwan Jennings was our number one receiver, a good receiver, but it's not the guy you want being your number one for an entire year.
McCaffrey
Our
was
offensive
hurt.
line is bad. Now, look, and I get all those things suck. A lot of them weren't his fault though, but you still don't let the guy go. What are you going to do? Like, no, we're not going to pay you 53. So we're just going to let you go.
You are the franchise that drafted Trey Lance.
But at the time, I'm gonna defend that decision though, because at the time Trey Lance was the pick.
At North
on
Dakota
paper.
State.
Well, even still,
let's be clear about something. The biggest reason why they had to pay him that money is because Brock Purdy saved John Lynch's ass.
For sure.
Think about like the level of draft capital they gave up for Trey Lance, and then 2 years later he was up out of there.
That's true too.
Purdy saved us.
And to be honest with you, that's the biggest reason why y'all had to offload so many contracts and players this year. It wasn't because of Brock Purdy's contract. It was because of all the draft capital you had to give up. And you had to offload that.
If Trey Lance was as successful as Purdy has been, we would be paying him $53 million a year. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But everybody'd be like, cool, because he was the number 2 pick or whatever.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So just a thought, right? Everybody wants a Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, right? But if you look at the Super Bowl participants, right, and what archetype that they are, they're not running quarterbacks. Not all of them.
Josh Allen is.
Josh Allen is, but
Lamar Jackson
hasn't made a Super Bowl yet. That's my point. He hasn't made a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson hasn't made a Super Bowl.
Mahomes.
Right. Now, and even, do you really consider Patrick Mahomes a running quarterback?
No.
That's not his game.
Right. He's situationally good, but he's not
right.
But that shit that he pulled last year, though, where he was acting like he was going to go down, but didn't really go down yet till last second, that pissed me off.
Well, that's why defenses are pussies, right?
What does that say right there?
I know.
All sports, any topic, legendary shit talking. Go for it.
It's so hard to watch sometimes when they just let him do that shit. But that's down them. He's going to keep doing it unless you just punish the guy, even if he's a half a step out of bounds. Yes, they're going to call a penalty.
Well, not to be
fair,
he
won't do it as much.
He didn't do it in the Super Bowl.
Because he knew better.
Well, no, the Eagles, they punished him in that Super Bowl. And Mahomes, he got lit up. So I don't know, man. I guess I get where the commissioner, the owners and whatnot, if you're actually investing this $53 million in a player and stuff, You don't want to see them getting hurt, and you're going to water down the defenses. Yeah, does that mean that it affects the defenses and how the way they play? Absolutely, it does. I mean, is this the same football that we watched back in the 90s? Absolutely not. I mean, it's totally different. But here's the other thing to consider: players today are way bigger, faster, and stronger than they were back then. I mean, the outliers of a Dick Butkus
or a Sue
or any of those kind of guys, they're relics now. I mean, but as great as they were, I mean, they would play in today's NFL, but I don't think they would dominate.
Yeah. Well, if they train like these guys do, they probably would. Like Dick Butkus probably drank like beer, like smoked like all night long. The night before he woke up and he was just like, "Let's go do this thing."
That's probably true.
It's different. Somebody today exactly. Like it's different.
But the mentality was different too back then. I mean, because I remember reading a Sports Illustrated article not too long ago. Well, it was a while ago, where he was being interviewed, and he was asked if he was ever if he ever had any unobtained goals. And he was sitting there eating a piece of sushi, all calm and, just really, anyway. And he actually looked at the interview and he basically said, yeah, I wanted to hit a man so hard that his head came off.
Love it.
I mean,
who said that?
Dick Butkus.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, so, the mentality was different back then. I think the physicality is different today.
I would agree with that. Did you hear the story about what Mean Joe Green said? Or no, it was Deacon Jones.
Deacon Jones? Okay.
I forget which quarterback, but there's a quarterback that was going off, had like 400 and something yards and 5 touchdowns. I forget what it was. And he was doing an interview. And he said, listen, that would never happen to us, because if I got to catch that quarterback in the alley and take his knee out, that's what I'm going to do so we can win that game. I was like, well, man, I can appreciate that, Like, people should go back and watch
to Tony, though. I think that you got a good point, though, about Brock Purdy as far as him getting paid.
I mean, I wish the Raiders had a QB like that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, you were trying to talk shit.
No, I'm not.
Was he worthy? He's 11th. I don't give a shit what PFF says. Like, all right, yeah, his touchdown to interception ratio wasn't ideal last year, but I mean, come on, like.
But also to be fair to him, he could have got more and he got less, which I was like, okay, cool. He could have.
Yep.
He could have got more the way.
But he was so limited, with his resources. I mean, he was out McCaffrey, Debo
the whole year.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that don't have nothing to do with his money. He got his money. He could have got more, but he left some on the table so they could get more people.
Especially in comparison to everybody else who is making more than him right now and what they've done in the league.
Look at Kirk Cousins is a great example.
Oh, good gracious!
This dude.
Kirk Cousins, I mean, that he's a cash cow, that guy. So, my goodness.
So let's run through the list, right? So let's run through the top 10 in pay right now, outside of Brock Purdy, right? Number 1 is Dak Prescott. Now, does he deserve to earn $60 million a year?
Fuck no, absolutely not.
So that's a no for everybody.
We are in cowboy country, so I don't want to get my car bomb.
Don't leave me out here alone by myself.
They overpaid him probably at the time, right? Because he's still they paid him last year and he's still the guy. Because you would think after a couple years, you shouldn't still be the guy. Like, what's Mahomes on that list?
Mahomes, now, see, that's the difference between Mahomes. Mahomes is, 11, 12, 13. He's 14 on the list. 14?
Because he got paid years ago. But that's what happened.
The difference is he got paid the soonest. He got paid in 20. He got his contract in 2020, and it was a 10-year deal, and it's the only one like that. So you got to take, that's context for that, right?
He didn't talk to Kirk Cousins before he signed that deal.
For real. And you know what? Funny you should say that. Kirk Cousins is right behind him.
Back up.
He's the
master, bro.
Yeah, he needs to be an agent for real. Kirk Cousins needs to be an agent.
Yeah, he does.
He be making that money. Now,
I do think he should be the starting quarterback of the Steelers, though.
I mean, you can make an argument for it.
Yeah.
Better than Mason Rudolph.
Well, you got Aaron Rodgers for that.
Fuck.
Yeah. Well, what are they going to pay him, right? And I think Kirk Cousins is 1 year removed from that Achilles because he was definitely compromised last year.
True. It's amazing how both dudes that were coming off Achilles injuries are either a backup or can't get a job.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Funny, right? I actually did read a Bleacher Report article, though. You think Aaron Rodgers is going to be signing with the Steelers anytime soon?
Well, if you're the Steelers, why do you want him? The dude doesn't want to be there. Like the Steelers are what, his third option? Couldn't go to Minnesota.
No, he's not going to have him.
There was Minnesota.
It was Minnesota.
They wouldn't do that.
I mean, basically re-sign with the Jets, go to Minnesota, or play in Pittsburgh.
It was no, but there was another team that was in that, but they went in a different direction. I forget who it was.
I don't know.
I don't want to misquote the schedule or whatever, but I think the NFL kind of told us that Aaron Rodgers is probably playing for the Steelers this year. I think they got like 3 or 4 primetime games. I don't think that they would have done that, even though they're the Steelers. They know more than us.
So
he's probably going to.
I read something that they have a verbal agreement. I read some article yesterday said that there's a verbal agreement between Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers.
Well, there's another point that no one wants to talk about either. It's clear that Aaron Rodgers has learned from last year. What do I mean? What did he get in trouble with this time last year? Why did he get in trouble? Because he was supposed to have been in mandatory OTAs, right? But he decided that he wanted to go to Egypt, right?
That's right.
And that incurred a fine because that is contractually mandated by the CBA. So now, as of right now, today, he's not under contract. So because he's not under contract, he doesn't have to be anywhere that's considered mandatory. So until whatever it is on the league calendar that OTAs is over, that's when he will sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Totally agree. 100% right. It was going to be my second point.
He ain't slick.
He doesn't want to do all that as a veteran. We already know he wants to be in the fucking Andes Mountains doing ayahuasca and shit.
Yeah,
like but if you're a Steeler, or excuse me, if you're one, wouldn't you want that man, if he's going to be your starting quarterback, wouldn't you want to actually develop a little bit of that chemistry before he actually shows up to camp? So now he's just being a dick.
Yes.
1,000%.
He's the douchiest of douches.
Yeah. I mean, is there any wonder why he's just one of the most reviled quarterbacks in the league?
I can't stand that man.
Oh, my God.
I can't stand that man. He is the bane of my existence.
Well, yeah,
as a football player. I can't.
Well, I mean, as a Lions fan, I can understand that too.
Yeah.
Well,
right? Because he would, not only did he beat y'all, but he talked mess while he did it.
Yeah, but we ended up evicting him out of the NFC North.
100%.
Right? And he hasn't been the same since. So there's that. And also, I will say this in regards to Aaron. Does he now know what mandatory means?
That's a really good question.
Because he had the nerve to try to question what the word mandatory means. He gets caught up in his stuff and he gets called out for it, and he has the nerve to go out on the airways talking about, well, what does mandatory really mean? Get a life, Aaron Rodgers. Get a life. You are educated individual. You graduated from Cal, at least I think you did. So you know what the hell mandatory means. Stop it, man.
So,
if you don't want to go to OTAs, you don't want to go to OTAs.
Jeopardy.
Just admit it, man.
Of course he knows what the word mandatory means.
I think he said it before.
So
most veterans aren't a fan of the off-season shit. Yeah.
Just admit it, man. Just say you don't want to go to practice.
That's it. We talking
You know
about
what I'm saying?
practice.
Right.
Not a game.
Yeah.
The thing is he even that good anymore? That's my thing.
No.
Like,
Oh,
I don't
goodness,
care.
no.
His name's Aaron Rodgers. Sure, his arm talent was amazing. Like he was a great quarterback.
yeah, he could throw yard.
But how good is he? He plays slow as shit. So for fantasy, it's annoying. You know?
Yeah. I wouldn't consider him in the top 15 today.
Shit,
And he's literally a coach killer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, he's a
what?
team killer.
He's a coach killer.
He's a cancer in the locker room.
Well, so that's why I love what the Jets coach,
Aaron Glenn.
asked him straight up, was like, do you want to play football? And Aaron felt like he shouldn't have to answer. Then he was like, bye, get out.
I love every bit of it. And the fact that he went on that ambulance tour.
Right, yeah.
I can't believe I paid my own ticket. Really? You getting paid over $50 million. You can't afford. Now you want to complain about one plane tickets?
Shut up.
Get out. Just get out.
Shut your ass.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, wait, do you want to play football? I'm interested.
He wants to play on Sunday. He doesn't want to practice.
Right. Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
So, but it kind of speaks to a bigger point. And none of us are Steeler fans here, but what are the Steelers doing?
Oh, man.
I don't understand their method here.
It's the GM.
How many quarterbacks do they actually have in there now?
Skylar Thompson is one of them.
Mason Rudolph is like their
but
and
starter,
Howard.
right?
So just to kind of put a bow on this one, so who are the top 10 that you actually have there? Dude?
Okay. Well, we talked about Dak Prescott. Number 2 is Josh Allen.
Rightfully
Tied
so.
with him is Trevor Lawrence. Tied with him,
Trevor Lawrence, man. I mean, okay, so that's another one. I mean, he was supposed to be this generational talent.
He's
I
laid some
mean,
turds out there.
man.
hey man,
Yeah.
You know, now to be fair, he actually did go to a
But
horrible team, but
he's no Will Levis though. But yeah.
he ain't
well,
making $55 million either.
Will Levis, he was a bust.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he
Well,
was a bust.
don't trust people who put mayonnaise in
So-
their coffee.
So keep going. So we were at
Yeah. So Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, and Jordan Love all make $55 million per year.
yeah, and none of those fools have won a Super Bowl.
So
Thanks
to
for
be
picking-
fair, you know, I mean, Tony actually makes a very, very good point. You know, I mean, once you find that generational talent,
yeah,
excuse me, not generational, but once you find that starting
that
quarterback
you can win with.
that you can win with,
Yeah.
you surround that person with that talent.
Absolutely. That's why
You
the
know.
Raiders should have drafted Shador, but that's another topic for another day.
Steelers should have too.
Well, this is actually a really surprising list. I was not aware of this.
Oh, it gets
Keep-
worse.
Keep going.
Yeah. So after that, you have Tua at 53.1.
Oh my
Come
God,
I'd
he's
take
one
Purdy over
concussion.
Tua any day.
Oh
Right.
my
So then-
God.
Ugh.
At 53 is Brock Purdy and Jared Goff. They both make 53.
I think I'd take Goff every day of the week, man. I mean, I think he's I think
Yeah.
I
He's
think
earned his
that
stripes.
Goff,
Put
he's
Purdy in that system, I think he's better. I really do.
Goff.
I think Purdy's better. Like you put him in on behind that offensive line in that team
That's an
because he's
interesting.
way more athletic. I don't know.
That's an interesting argument. You know, I mean, you might be right.
I'm
I
biased a little
don't-
bit, but still, either way, it's not. It's an argument, right?
Yeah.
It is. It definitely is. You know, but I can tell. You know, I will say this:
System does matter.
the
though.
system does matter. You know, and it's proof positive because I mean, he was throwaway trash. You know, when he was with the Rams.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff
And
Fisher.
he actually comes to the Lions, and now all of a sudden they're contenders in the
Well,
biggest
it
way.
wasn't only Jeff Fisher that gave up on him. It was the current.
Sean McVay, but it started with Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher almost ruined him out of the league.
I
Oh,
gotta say,
that's
man,
Jeff
and I,
Fisher though.
but I gotta say,
He did the same thing to Vince Young.
Mm-hmm.
McVay's mindset is I admire it all day
Oh,
long.
yeah,
I mean, he's
sure,
just no BS kind of guy, man. I mean, he's just all
But
balls in.
listen, but is it him or how good is Matthew Stafford? Matthew Stafford is. I know I've said for a year he was a bum. What?
I was about
But
to
he's
say,
not.
I'm about to call you out on your hypocrisy.
Matthew Stafford's a
God.
bum.
I'm call you out.
I'm glad that
so-
we got this on record.
Oh no!
So I
Holy
used to say
cow.
that. I used to say that he was a bum for years, just so I could get under hater effect
Oh.
skin over there for a long time.
Yeah, you did it too. You did it.
Wow.
But you don't
Hey, we
believe
got
that.
this on a
Yeah.
podcast
No,
now.
he's not. He's not. A bum.
I'm glad you admitting this in public.
But
I'm very
I would
sorry.
like to
Stafford
point
make-
out. I would like.
What was Stafford make?
Ooh, good question. He's making 42,
Okay.
but he's older though.
While we're
Yeah,
saying with
yeah,
him, I would like to point out though he didn't win a Super Bowl until he went to the Rams.
I know.
I think he's fully aware of that.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm aware of that fact,
Just
sir.
put that out there.
I'm aware of that fact. It's fine, but actually, I'm happy for him because he didn't know what was going to happen with the rebuild and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go through that, and
Yeah.
I don't fault.
It was
him for
almost
that.
another Barry Sanders situation where they're gonna make
Pretty
him
much.
entirely. But so
Yeah.
let's transition.
well,
do you have anything else to say? on
Yeah.
them?
So the round out the top 10 in pay. So after Jared Goff at 53, you have Justin Herbert at 52.5, and then Lamar Jackson at 52. So that's your top 10.
You think that Lamar Jackson is
Gosh.
in for another payday?
Huh?
When is his contract up?
I think.
Lamar 2027.
Yeah. 2 more years.
So he'll get one
He
more.
better
huge
get his
contract.
money. But if he's smart,
as long as he's still
Yeah.
healthy.
yeah,
Right.
he'll do the Jordan thing if he's smart.
I can't see him being on another team.
No.
You know.
Oh, you
No.
think he would jump?
No, Jordan thing. Where Jordan was the least paid player,
Oh.
or not one of the most paid players on his team for years because he wanted to win. His rookie contract was like peanuts compared to what they are getting now. Obviously,
Right.
Now 2 different ages, sure.
Yeah.
But Jordan was like the 5th, I think, or 6th highest paid player on his team for almost 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
So if Lamar Jackson's smart, he won't bankrupt his team. I'm just saying.
They're gonna. And it's gonna be a lot of money no matter what. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But
He's
the
gonna take
question-
it.
It is.
Yeah, but the question is, and I know we're not talking about this today, but the next group of quarterbacks that will be for, getting their deal, you got the, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams,
Don't get me started on him.
who else? I mean, those are like worthy.
Yeah, but that's 3-4 years away now for their extensions.
But where could that lead? And
it's going to be massive.
oh my God, it's going to be stupid, right? And
Bo Nix, how much is Bo Nix going to
Bo
get
Nix
paid?
too. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Drake May, all those guys.
Drake May. Yeah.
So,
all those guys.
They'll be.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
can negotiate contracts after their third year. You can start the
If you're
negotiation.
a 4th round draft pick, when do you come up for and renegotiate on a contract? Is it earlier than a 1st round?
If you're a 4th rounder,
Yeah, if you're or 3rd or 4th.
so the max your contract is 4 years, and you're not eligible for a 5th year option. So you have to negotiate with them at year 3.
So you pretty much are given like a fast track to the new contract as opposed to somebody from the 1st
If you're
round,
balling,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But the other point to that though, and again, I actually put some notes down as far as like the NIL and how it's affecting. Oh, excuse me. How it's affecting NFL contracts. But I did want to point out one thing though. The next group of quarterbacks after the top 10, the one that really sticks out to me, Kyler Murray. He makes $46 a year.
Doing what?
Exactly.
That sounds about
Game
right.
Call of Duty.
I mean, it might be a little bit overpriced.
Not studying film?
Right. Mr. Call of Duty himself, right? But I say that to say, right, so there was an interesting point that someone made where you're looking at the top 10, right? And you look at somebody who is the ilk of a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, what they make in comparison to what Tua makes, right?
Mm.
And you look at their accomplishments and stuff like that. And then the longevity of those quarterbacks that are coming up, right? And not all of them are going to make a Super Bowl. Not all of them are going to make a championship game. But when their time comes up and they have to negotiate at the table, they're going to want just as much or somewhere close to what the average is right now, which is like they come in and we want 54.3 right now as the floor, right?
Mhm.
But there's nowhere close to that. So my idea is you shouldn't even eclipse that yet until you get to your 3rd contract, not your 2nd if you're a quarterback.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just an idea, but
Yeah, but it's not going to work.
no,
Like,
it's not.
How do
It's
you
a CBA thing.
How do
is
you
that?
not let them go then? Like you either pay them or they walk, and somebody's
Mhm.
going to pay them what they want. So
Mm.
good in theory, but and the salary cap's been growing a lot the last few years too. I think that helps. So these salaries look a little bit crazier than usual, but the salary cap is a lot higher. So
It is. And not only that, but the owners are getting a lot richer. So they can afford the salary cap.
Speaking of cap,
Uh-oh.
let's transition over to this NCAA CEO type commissioner stuff. Now, right now, I believe they have a president. His name is Charlie Baker, if I'm not mistaken. But he pretty much serves as a commissioner role.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think he was the former governor of Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Anyway, so what are your thoughts on that, gentlemen? Should the NCAA have a, let's say for lack of a better word, NFL commissioner type model with caps? Because, I think we both know they're not really going to follow the caps. It's like Blue Chips all over again. If you ever seen that movie.
To me, there's a lot of things that goes into this, right? This CEO is they're gonna tab this position, right? So, number one, they're gonna make 7 figures off the rip. So let's start with that. Second, they are going to be the arbitrator for any rules violations. So this is near and dear to my heart because,
as well it should be,
right.
Mr. Michigan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've been punished quite a
What
bit.
signal am I throwing up?
Hey, man, you still got to play the game.
Yes, you do.
You still got to play a game. And but the point is, I am in favor of it only because this make a ruling, make it quickly, and get it over with, instead of we're going to allow the school to invoke this punishment now, and then we as the NCAA get to come back and inflict punishment on the school a second time or a third time, right? To me, that's ridiculous, and it needs to go to a one-stop shop, make it happen, get it over with, and be done with it. Because a violation that happened 5 years ago and you come back with a punishment after the fact, I mean, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. So, and especially for a multi-billion-dollar organization like the NCAA, this is ridiculous. So I'm fine with that. The only problem that I have is the rumor that they put out in this report that the person that they are considering to actually fill this position is no other than Saint Nick Saban. I absolutely, positively reject that idea.
Oh, okay.
He should be the last person to actually man that position.
Sure, but I think you can make an argument against, say, the Big Ten or the SEC conference. You're not going to want to give up that power, right? Because you're pretty much the money-making conferences. And I would think that a commissioner or whoever you want to call it would be considered a threat to those things. So, like, for example, it's all fragmented, right? You got the SEC, the Big Ten, and nobody cares about,
right?
Mountain West or former Pac order used to be. Yeah, no, now it's all those. So if you're one of those conferences, would you even want a commissioner?
But that's the thing about it. This is all under the agreement of the other 4 conferences. Like they're running this. And the person that they select will have to be agreed upon amongst all 4.
See, but that's what I'm saying, though. If you're the SEC or the Big Ten, why would you ever agree to that?
Well, apparently it was their idea.
I'm just proposing the question. Why would you ever agree to it if you're the moneymaker and have all the power?
I don't know that.
So it spurns from, I think it spurns from 2 different things. The first is they're trying to wrap around, or they're trying to get NIL under control. So that's the first thing that they're trying to do.
Good luck
right.
putting that genie back in the bottle.
Right. But that's one of the main purposes of this position is to have a cap that you talked about, and to organize the NIL structure, right? So,
would that kill, though, how college football is organized if you had a commissioner? Would it kill that?
Will it kill it?
Yeah.
Well, I would say no, as long as it's being worked in cooperation with everyone. Like if they're just falling at the bidding of the SEC and the Big 12 or the Big 10, then no, it won't work. But as long as all the conferences are operating the way they're supposed to, then yes, it can work. The problem, the biggest issue is the fact that once this NIL stuff came out, there was no structure.
Mm-hmm.
There was no structure. They just let the conferences run wild. They let the schools just run wild.
Sure, but wouldn't establishing a commissioner, again, I'm not promoting one way or the other, but wouldn't that kill what makes college football so unique? Because how are you going to go in?
They already did that on their own.
True. Yes. But you can see what they're adjusting, right? That they expanded the college football playoff.
Yeah, and apparently they're making changes again.
So I'm trying to figure out in my mind, how is the commissioner going to fit in all that? You know what I mean? Because there's from a legal standpoint, from a structure, from a discipline, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So
how would that all fit in? Monetary? I don't know how they're going to.
They didn't put it in the article here, but I think when it comes down to how the college football playoff works and all that type of stuff, that's outside of his jurisdiction. His primary function is with the NIL and punishments. That's where he fits.
Like putting a cap on NIL?
The cap on NIL.
So what would the cap, a supposed cap, look like for a Michigan or a USC or Wyoming?
I don't know.
Can I just ask? Because I'm not a huge college guy, right? So is NIL paid by the school? I always thought it was like somebody else.
So
they're affiliated with the school, right? It's boosters.
It's affiliated with the school, but it's called
where's the money?
I forget what the name was called. It's like a collective or whatever, but it's funded by the boosters and alumni of the school, and they just use it as one flat pot of money that they use to distribute to however they see fit. Now, the other half of that, though, the individual deals that the player works, that's separate and apart. So basically what they're doing is the collective is what they're using to entice the player to come to the school. If they choose to do it. Like Michigan doesn't do that. They do not, or at least they didn't for the longest time. What they did was they would use their collective to retain players. Like if you bring them in and say, hey, if you do this, that, and a third, okay, we will negotiate your sophomore, junior, and senior year on your NIL deal from the school. And then they'll work in partnership with sponsors and other stuff too to work out those types of things for those players. But everybody else, like in the SEC, they just throwing out all types of money just to bring the recruit in. But where the guardrail is supposed to come in is there's no limit in the transfer portal. And I think that is what ruined everything, because that's what allows a player to come back, like my man from Tennessee talking about, oh, I want to negotiate my NIL deal before the playoff game. Then he comes back, he gets what he wants, and then he comes back in the spring game, and the day before the spring game talking about, I want to renegotiate again.
Okay.
Maybe that's why they want this damn position, right?
So, and that's why you should implement a cap, because what that would do, it would be eliminate that pay-for-play unstableness.
Mm-hmm. It's like kind of like Wild Wild West type shit.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's
much.
what it sounds like.
I think it would. I think it would kind of stabilize that a little bit, right? And it would balance it out amongst the Ohio States, Texases, and all the other universities. But it's probably going to be like blue chips, where they're going to do some money on the side, you know.
I will say, it seems like the university should be really happy about this, because I don't think they're paying as much as people may like.
Yeah.
From the outside looking out, I'm like, dude, they're happy because they're getting all these different players, and they're hardly paying any of the money.
I think Michigan, though, right? Michigan has the highest Niels roster, don't they?
No,
I thought they did.
No,
there was some
like last year. Like last year,
it's like 25 million or something like that.
Probably, maybe I had to look it up, but going into this year, maybe. But last year, it was Ohio State hands down.
Yeah. Okay.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not surprising at all.
Yeah, but at the same time, what option do you have? You're trying to compete with the Miamis, Georgias, Alabamas, Texas.
Not only that, but who could enforce it?
No.
Well, that's the other thing.
You know what I'm saying? Who can enforce it?
How about the teams that are not in a conference?
Yeah, the small market teams.
You mean, I'm not talking about
Notre Dame?
Oh, man, you got to win your conference, man.
You know, I'm just saying, I know I just
did he really open that can?
Yeah. And that's good. I'm glad we transitioned to that, because I definitely think that's kind of in line with what we're talking about.
Toilet paper.
Oh, hush up.
If you can select your opponents, just hand select, and you're not even in a conference. And I think who said it best? I think it was either Lane Kiffin or it was the Clemson Tigers coach. What's his name?
Dabo. Yeah.
Dabo talked about this.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem.
I just want them to play LSU is what I want to see.
Man, that will be the one and only time I will cheer for y'all, because I can't stand Brian Kelly. But
who are you talking to?
That's saying something.
God.
That's saying something. But I hate him just as much as you do.
Oh, no, you don't. When I saw this man actually walk out on his team just before a playoff game,
dude,
gosh,
my family. Get out of here, man.
I mean, people have been shot for less. I'm just saying,
Indeed. But the new CFP rules, though, they are now winning your conference no longer matters.
Oh, whoa. There's still something to be said about winning your conference, because, think about what just happened this previous playoffs.
Yes, but I'm saying, but the top 12, they're not giving first round buys based on conference winners. They are going straight by what the committee ranks 1 through 12.
But that's a good change.
But if you win your conference, that should matter as far as the rankings is concerned.
I would think so. Should, but they're predicating on the committee's selection, though. So how like last year they did the 1 through 12 ranking, but the
Arizona
seeding,
State and Boise State got right.
Yeah.
But the seeding,
we saw how that worked out.
Right. So the seeding was straight up based on the fact if you were a conference champion or not.
Okay. Would y'all agree or disagree that if you're going to be independent, a la Notre Dame, and you have these playoff restructurings that are going on, conferences don't matter, would you consider that riskier then to be an independent at that point? Because if you're not playing consistently ranked or top tier, I'm not saying Notre Dame is doing that now, they are, as you mentioned, last 2 years, but let's say they do a 180. We're only going to play one top 5 ranked team a year.
I think that's
isn't that dangerous for them?
Well, yes, but I think that's why. Because you saw the rumblings, too, from some of the other coaches going towards the latter end of the season about playing top rank or, higher echelon teams throughout the season and how it wears them out going forward.
It is dangerous, too, considering the fact that if they lose that one game, well, what does that drop them to?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That plummets them. I mean, you're talking 10 spots at least.
Because in the past, if you won a conference title, that would kind of get you into the playoff, right? That'd give you a clear path.
Yes.
But now that that's changing, how's that going to work for independent teams? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean,
I'm making
there's
sense.
only one significant independent team, though, right? So,
Correct.
like, who cares?
Yeah.
And they're going to be, and they legitimately deserved it last year,
True.
and they proved it because they look like one of the best teams, maybe a
Yeah.
top 2 or 3 team in college football by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
as
can
much
make
as I hate to say it, but yeah.
Yes.
they can make the argument
They were
they
good.
made the CFP without being in a conference. They did.
Yeah. So the only thing running your
Yeah.
conference will guarantee now is you should get into the CFP. It doesn't guarantee you get a bye.
Mhm.
That's the difference.
And that's good. I think it's
Yeah.
a great change. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's a
So
good thing.
I'm cool with it. I just hope that encourages teams to, to schedule, tougher schedules.
Yeah.
I would say,
Yeah.
instead of, the SEC always getting the cop out, like, well, our conference is tougher, so
But
we
they're
shouldn't
not.
have to.
They're not wrong, man.
No, they're not.
wrong. They're losing to each other, and they're getting punished at the playoff. When, like, you've got Georgia loses to Ole Miss, and then let's say Texas loses to, or Alabama loses to Texas, or whatever, one of those combinations.
Okay.
Those teams are generally in the top 10 ranking almost every year.
Okay.
And they get punished for losing against another top 10 ranked team, as opposed you got Ohio State that plays ranked number 22 and wins, but if they lose, obviously they're out. But it's like, okay, wait a minute. Like, I mean,
But
think
you
about it.
can't have it.
Look at
both
that
ways,
argument.
though.
Look at the argument for Alabama and well, who was it? Iowa or whoever, Indiana.
Yeah.
Indiana should have never been in the playoff. Never. And the only reason why they're there is because, again, the SEC was beating each other up.
Yeah, with 12 teams, I don't know. I think Indiana deserved it the way they played.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know.
you got to put them in there.
With
Yeah.
with 12, but I'm just talking about based off just last year. Last year, I don't think they belonged in there. That's
So
Indiana?
your argument is not
as much as I like their
eye test.
record, what they were doing. I
Right. You're going off an eye test,
pretty much.
right?
Yeah.
But you can't. To me, that's just it was an outlier team, right? And what you do, like, you had the blue blood who underachieved. Let's be real. Alabama underachieved last year,
They did.
and they lost to Vanderbilt. I'm sorry.
Who saw
I
that
don't.
happening?
Hold on. You can't sit here and tell me that Vanderbilt, regardless if they're in the SEC or not, they're basically there because of their academic standards. Let's just be real.
What's Vanderbilt's strength of schedule compared to the rest of the ACC or something?
Are you talking out of conference, or are you
probably
talking
pretty
about,
damn
Let
strong.
me look at this.
right? But they're already
dude,
they're propped up because they're in the SEC, though, right? So you can't really use that in their favor. They still stink. They suck as a football school. Nick Saban himself said, like, the one thing we don't do in Alabama is lose to Vanderbilt. Oops. Sorry. So, yeah, Indiana, did they have a miracle season? Yes, they did. And so, but they had to prove themselves in the CFP, and they did not.
Yeah,
That's
but
what happened.
It was within a good conference, though. Like,
Correct.
like it's not. But I think the bigger question is, like, okay, so to the whole point, which I really like to change, is like Boise State got a bye.
Correct. Right.
Did they deserve that? Did they deserve to make the CFP?
Yes.
Yes. Did they deserve a bye?
No.
No.
So I just found something interesting. So check this out. So as far as like strength of schedule, this is Vanderbilt SEC versus ACC strength of conference. Okay, Vanderbilt plays in the SEC East. That includes Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina. Okay, and then it's saying that the average recruiting rankings is top 5 to 15. It's elite, but they're saying that the strength of schedule for Vanderbilt is more competitive than it was the ACC because the ACC wasn't as deep based off of the opponents that Vanderbilt had to play.
For sure. It's probably going to always be that way with
Yeah,
the bottom tier SEC teams. They still have to play
But that goes to show you that the bottom tier SEC team is still probably better than the bottom tier of the ACC teams.
Yeah, but don't distract from the fact that, yes, they are at the bottom of the SEC, but Alabama lost to them.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, right? So all I'm saying is, so are you saying that Alabama should have been, so the committee should have overlooked them losing to Vanderbilt?
Fuck no, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay,
I'm making the point that Vanderbilt plays in a tougher conference than ACC overall because Vanderbilt plays in the SEC East.
Yeah, but Vanderbilt is the equivalent of being in a science project.
Sure.
In a group science project.
Absolutely, but that does not change the fact that they still play in a tougher conference than the ACC overall.
Yes.
ACC overall is not as deep or as tough as the SEC is.
We all know
overall.
Yeah,
That's all the point.
And water is wet. But what's your point?
Water's wet.
So, but again, in terms of Alabama being in the playoff or not, that's the question, though. If you lose to Vanderbilt,
okay,
and you're Alabama,
okay,
I'm sorry.
Let me bring it up.
You need to be knocked down a couple more notches for that.
So compare who Alabama played.
Jalen Milroe sucks. Let's keep that.
Sure, but compare who Alabama played versus who Indiana played throughout the year.
Okay.
Don't even tell me Indiana had a tougher schedule or better. No, absolutely
no one's arguing
not.
That.
So that's my point, right? You're making my point for me.
Okay.
Alabama, they never should have lost to Vanderbilt. 100%. They never should have. But because they did, it impacted them. But if you're taking an Indiana team or one of those other teams around that area, there's no way that their strength of schedule or the opponents that they beat, the quality is better than Bama's.
See, I think the argument for me in that scenario had nothing to do with Indiana. It had everything to do with Miami. I thought Miami should have been in before Alabama.
Yeah, there's an argument to be made about that. You know who would be great for this is Mr. Kyle.
Well,
Joey, how you feel about
it? You have no thoughts, man.
Come on, Notre Dame.
I mean, to be honest with you, since I'm actually a Notre Dame fan, kind of excluded from this conversation,
God, I can't believe that. And you're my best friend.
I know, man.
It's tough.
You still have opinions?
I want Notre Dame to win. I know that.
I think the change is awesome.
I'd like it too. I think it's good overall for college football. I mean, it's going to generate so much money.
I think it's going to be better games.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Because you got.
But as far as the cap is concerned, I think that there needs to be one.
Yeah, but what would that number be? Well, I mean,
what
are we talking? 5 million?
I can't answer
20,
that.
15? I mean, just what would you say?
But it has to be standard across the board, just because, I mean, if
it can't.
Why not?
What do you mean?
Totally different. You're talking 130 something Division I teams.
Do you think it would
How
level?
How can you make it that?
Well, I mean, you could do it. It would level out the playing field, right?
I know he took a big turn. But it's very difficult. I don't think it could be. I actually don't think it's manageable. But
okay, so let's say they institute like a $15 million cap for every university for their football.
All right, so for I don't know, Duke or whoever, they don't care. All right.
Well, they're never going to compete anyway.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But then you're going to put a cap on these biggest teams. Well, you might as well just get rid of it altogether and go back to the way it was.
That's not going to happen.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
No. If you can cap Ohio State,
why
at $15 million?
Why are you going to do it? What's the goal?
And that is a fair question. But if you can cap Ohio State at $15 million, right? And everybody else let's just keep it conference. Everybody else in the Big Ten has to compete with that. Those dollars can be competed. If I'm Indiana and I have $15 million to mess with, I might be able to get somebody that normally would look at Ohio State.
So you want revenue sharing too? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what it looks like.
Well,
that's a good question.
I don't think it's not a good thing. I don't think that would be a good thing. I think it doesn't change anything anyway. They're still going to be the best, but now you're just taking money away from the kids. Not that I really give a shit, but I do think it's stupid.
So here's the other underlying topic. Do you think that college athletes should be getting paid?
Yeah.
I don't care, man.
I do. They make so much money off of them as it is, but again, there has to be some sort of structure.
Well, that's why I asked about their universities earlier. Are the universities the ones paying? Because it seems like a lot of the money that Arch Manning's making, $6 million this year?
Yes.
How much is Texas paying him? I don't know if we even know that. Is it a public information? I don't know, but I feel like they're probably not paying a significant portion of that.
As far as how much money
so
they're making.
So this is a great thing for the universities and for the kids. So why do we give a shit if some rich person, fucking Matthew McConaughey, wants to give Arch Manning $1 million to stay at Texas? Do we care? We should.
I don't.
That's why do we care?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, for me, I as far as the money making aspect, I don't necessarily have an issue, because I think, to me, the negative connotation that comes with NIL is what leads to all of this. I feel like if they just called it an internship, like a paid internship, nobody would have a problem.
Now that I would agree with.
Right.
I mean, before, I don't know. I think that there was a reason why the NCAA didn't pay out college athletes to begin with, and now we're seeing it.
Well, I kind of disagree because I think that the whole use of their name, image, likeness is to also make some money from them too, right? So you're not just paying them, you are getting something in return.
Yes, you are.
And I think that's important. And so I kind of disagree a little bit on that. And it's now you have a relationship, right? Like, all right, now we can use whatever to make money. Like we can use your face in an advertisement or something, right?
Massive revenue stream, especially with these college football playoffs.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, what I don't agree with is, not having some sort of a cap space or anything like that. Who cares? And the reason being is because that puts other universities that could potentially be contenders at a complete disadvantage. I mean, how is it, fair to give Ohio State, $50 million and then somebody in their own conference $30 million? I mean, I just don't see that as leveling the playing field. So, because then you're just buying the talent. Now, granted, you still have to play the game, but still, you're getting top tier talent all the time.
Well, here's my question for that: does Texas A&M feel bad for the amount of money Johnny Manziel generated for them?
Hell nah.
No, of course not. I mean,
that was pre-NIL.
But that's a different argument altogether. I'm talking about paying players.
Yes, but to me, it's related because the work that Manziel put in and the buzz that he generated, they capitalized on that full tilt. And they actually built a new stadium because of it.
Well, so now you're just actually making the NCAA a professional sport.
Okay, so
that's
literally
the conversation.
Yeah,
right?
the sponsorships pretty much speak to that.
What if the college athletes unionized? What do you think would happen? If you're going that route, professional, what do you think would happen if they unionized? Would they force the NCAA's hand to do what things that we're talking about? Cap,
I think
structure?
that's one of the reasons why they're doing this whole CEO thing to prevent that from happening. Honestly,
can you imagine? Like,
well, you're talking about
that's hard to do.
It would be terrible.
Yeah,
it would be.
It'd be horrible.
I would agree with you, but
well, I mean,
that's the only way they can force themselves to get the compensation that they need or the professional role you're talking about,
or at least make it even amongst everyone.
Yeah, I mean, dang,
you'd have to make an entire different division. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
And you can't have that. You couldn't have that many schools involved then if you're trying to manage it in that way, like, I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
To be honest, they're already like this whole thing, like even outside of NIL, because NIL has nothing to do with the fact that we used to have a Power 5 and NCAA for football. And now it's the Power 4.
It's Power 2.
And really Power.
And no pack.
The NIL has nothing to do with that.
Well,
so go ahead.
No. It's just a general question for you guys. Like, so, you remember back in the day, like, all right, somebody bought Deion Sanders a car or some shit, right? Like, that was illegal, right?
Yeah.
I imagine they can literally do anything they want now. They can just buy them in their family's houses and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, everything's off the table.
Yeah.
And that's just a general, like, I have nothing to go on from that. I just kind of question.
Remember how...
it's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I just feel like I was looking it up today. So Caleb Williams, because I was trying to look at the comparison of the rookie, the NFL rookie contract, right?
Oh, I bet he's so pissed.
Average in comparison to what they made in NIL, right? So Caleb Williams, for example, he has.
Oh, he had NIL?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he was. I identified him specifically because I felt like he was the start of this new breed of quarterback coming into the NFL, right? Because he had NIL money.
I actually started with O'Bannon.
No. What I mean is the football NIL was approved, right?
Oh, okay.
And as far as those quarterbacks who were getting NIL money, and then they now gone through the full cycle, and now they're NFL quarterbacks, right? And how Like, I was wondering, like, okay, what's the difference between the two? Like, is it advantageous for them to stay in college as long as possible before you go in the NFL?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it doesn't, because so right now, like, Caleb Williams was making an average of $5 million a year for the 2 years that he was at USC. Right now, average annual for the number 1 overall pick for the Bears, $9.8 million. So he's making about as much in 2 years, or he's making about as much per year as he was in NIL money in 2 years.
And more
NIL
importantly,
money is
he
an
starts
NFL
his
money.
clock. So he starts the clocks.
Yes.
So yes, he's making only $9 million, which,
Right.
but in 4 years or 3, they're probably going to start negotiating, right? His extension.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you want, right?
Right.
Because that first contract is going to be huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least as it currently stands right now.
The great Deion Sanders said, NIL money is not NFL money.
No, it's not.
Absolutely agree.
Just saying.
Like Cam Ward, he was making $2 million at Miami, and his annual is $12 million.
Yeah,
for the Titans.
it's
So-
about to be $500 million probably by
I mean,
the
it's
time.
nice, but it's not something that should keep you in school. Like, look at
No.
Stewart. What
Yeah.
happened? I don't know how much he was making NIL.
Oh,
my
but as a
dude.
5th round pick,
He lost
Yeah.
like 20
and
million.
now he may be. We'll see what happens. So for him,
didn't he sign like a 4-year, $5 million contract or $4
Something like
million
that, yeah.
contract, something like that? So you're right.
Yeah. I don't know how much of that is guaranteed. It's probably not a lot, but yeah, he lost a significant amount of money.
but Caleb Williams knew he was going to be number 1 pick.
Yeah.
You don't stay
Right.
in school when you're guaranteed that type of draft capital.
Yeah. So it's just amazing to me, like, what you're able to do while you're in school, and then you make the jump to professional leagues, and the money that you make, there's no difference. I mean, I wouldn't say it's no difference, but there's no comparison, I should say. And not only that, I would make the assumption that if you're part of a professional league, the healthcare is a lot better. I would hope.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see on that. But so let's move to a different direction because we have a little bit of time left remaining.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'd like to introduce a topic.
Go ahead.
Can we please stop saying that Anthony Edwards is the next Michael Jordan? Can we just stop?
I never said that, so
I know you all aren't, but the hype around him coming into the season, all this other stuff, I'm like, look, this young man's still trying to figure out. Let him win consistently. Let him get in the finals. Let him win some championships. And I just, the hype around this guy is just ridiculous, in my opinion. Just saying.
I don't know where I kind of understand where the comparison was starting from, but it's clear right now that he's not there yet.
Okay.
He's not there yet. And it's kind of a curse, right? I think it still applies. The curse of Michael Jordan still exists.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If you start and put those names together,
yeah,
yourself with Michael Jordan, it's an issue.
So who do y'all think is going to win or be in the finals? Who do you got?
It's OKC, Indiana, man.
I think so, too.
Sorry, New York. But just a slight pivot, right? I can't go for a team that's being sponsored by Abu Dhabi. For real. They're literally sponsored by Abu Dhabi. It's not a country, is the country, not a company or, the country of Abu Dhabi you're being sponsored by. You in New York City.
That's funny. That's funny.
You got Fortune 50. You know what I mean? Fortune 50 companies all over the place, and you got to get a sponsorship by another country. Stop it.
Yeah. Speaking of stop it, so let's enter our last segment here on talking about fantasy football. I know we have our commissioner sitting to the left of us, Joey Goodell. I believe you want to talk about punishments and strategy, sir. The floor is yours.
Okay. Oh, goodness. So from the last segment that we had, we talked a little bit about the formation of the league and how it came to be. And fortunately for me, I actually have yet another commissioner from one of our other leagues that is actually sitting off to my left. So he can feel free to interject at any time, because we've actually made some pretty good jumps from one year to the next. But he's actually been with our Blitz League from the very, very beginning. And the punishments that we've actually generated for coming in last place have actually gradually gotten better. But, we actually have many, 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 many good stories that have actually stretched all the way back 12 years. And as I mentioned the last one, the whole Bag of Dicks award that we actually have, that actually has a funny story to it as well. I think I'm going to hold on to that story, for as long as I can until maybe we can get one of our other league members that helped originate that story as to why it came to be. But needless to say, one of our league members pulled a joke on another league member, and he was basically told to suck a bag of dicks.
Or was it eat a bag of dicks?
Yeah, or excuse me, eat a bag. But it's kind of one of the things that's on our Mount Rushmore, and hopefully you guys are going to be intrigued enough to stick around, keep you around long enough for you to be able to hear the whole joke about this thing. But anyway, we've had some pretty good ones, and the latest one that we actually had was one of the gentlemen in our league. He didn't show up to a draft party where he came in last place, and that's a big no-no. So, we kind of branded him as being a big baby, and so we decided to impose a punishment on him by fitting him with a diaper, a rattle, and a bonnet, and all kinds of other baby clothes and stuff like that. And to be fair, he took it like a champ. Yeah. But he took it like a champ. I was actually very, very impressed. He was very cool about it. And everybody had a good laugh. Everybody had a good time. And and there was no animosity about it or anything like that. But that's what's cool about our league is that nobody gets easily offended, and if you are easily offended, you ain't gonna last very long in this league. We tend to be pretty harsh from time to time, but it's all in good fun. And, so we actually have a good punishment for every year. So this next year's loser, if you want to call it that, he has a punishment waiting for him. Make no mistake. And he'll find out about it this coming Saturday, draft day. But anyway, it's so much fun.
Who won the first bag of dicks?
Oh, goodness gracious. So, when that whole thing first formulated, we were actually dealing with the whole bag of dicks type concept or whatever. And my boy to the left of me thought that it was going to be meant for somebody else, and he was rudely surprised that it was meant for him because he came in last place, and hence he actually had to take on the Bag of Dicks award. He was not too pleased about it at all. So thank you for bringing that up, Jay.
Yeah, no problem.
Why you keep bringing up the past? That's my question.
I honestly, I just forgot. I was just trying to figure it out.
We talked about this in the last episode, man.
Mm.
I've already gone through the trauma of that.
That's true.
But that's okay, because
you're never gonna outlive it.
It's a villain origin story.
Yeah, it's gonna. You're branded with it. It's gonna be with you forever.
Absolutely. It is. It really is.
So far, you're the only O for team.
Yep.
Okay, let's balance this out, though. Who's the Buffalo Bills of our league?
Who's the Buffalo Bills of our league?
I was.
Fuck you guys.
Okay. Well, for the longest time, it was Tony, but then he had to win by a toenail clipper. Yeah.
Does it matter?
Oh, I'll let you explain there, Jules.
No, I feel bad because I texted him congratulations one time and ended up losing. That was one of the, I think that was like a toilet game. I think we had like 106 points, maybe.
Dude,
108 or something.
Lowest scoring championship of all time. I'm downtown having a nice dinner. It was like Christmas Eve or some shit, right? it was the Seattle game. It was Russell Wilson. You were like, oh, well, you got this because he's gonna score more than 5 points for every fucking needed, right? And I think you beat me like 106 to 102 or something. It was just insane. Like the lowest scores of the whole year.
Yeah. I think ever, right? Isn't that the lowest scoring Super Bowl ever?
It has to be. It has to be.
Well, and for the record, when we say Super Bowl, we're talking the championship of our league.
Yeah.
And for some context, this is a 10-team league, 1 quarterback, PPR tight end premium.
Yeah.
We call it the Blitz League. So for our audience, whenever we refer to the Blitz League, that's what we're talking about. It's 10 guys in San Antonio, and we get together every year for the NFL draft, for our rookie draft party. It's our favorite, right? I play in a lot of leagues, but it's my favorite.
Can you go into some of your experiences in the championship games?
No, fuck you.
Just talk about the one that you won. How about that?
The ones I won one, you asshole. And you know I've been in a shit ton of them. So I know what you're doing. Basically, I'm the greatest team in the history of Blitz. Okay. My first 3 years, what did I lose? Like a total of 5 games, but I didn't win a single championship. Like, it's fucking impossible. And yeah, that's why they call me the Buffalo Bills.
So tell that story about our game where I sent you that text message.
What are you, an asshole? Like, we just.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really fun, really funny.
It is.
I mean, I just talked about it. I'm fucking eating dinner, watching, and like, so I don't know what's going on, right? I know I'm not doing well, but Jules texted me, Jay texted me, he's like, "Congrats, man, good game," and I'm like, "Oh, sweet," because I'm just sitting there, at dinner with no TVs around me, and so I look at the message, I'm like, yes, I won, because I think that was my 3rd Super Bowl, third being it, or something like that. So I'm like, all right, gosh, dang. So about an hour later, when I'm not in the restaurant anymore, I'm driving, we're on the way home, I look at the fucking score, and I lost, and I'm like, all right, what's going on right now? So I had to figure out.
Must be a glitch.
Yes, I was not happy. I said, you never ever text me that type. You never do that shit again. All right, you're done.
Jay,
my bad, bro. My bad. Like, no.
Why are you opening up old wounds like that, man?
Because it's a funny story, but
you're triggering people, bro.
I know. He knows what he's doing. I told him he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But you won one. You won one.
Yeah. I won one.
You've been to 4.
Crazy. Oddly enough, it was, of course, it was the whole
it was when
the Hamlin injury
Hamlin's,
deal with all that crap. So if you guys play fantasy football,
so
you obviously know that was a big deal.
Yeah, and I was the commissioner of that one. Now it looked like you were on the upward trajectory, so it looked like you were going to win it anyway. But nevertheless, as commissioner, I actually did make a phone call to both you guys and be like, what do I do here, boys? I mean, that was the hardest phone call ever, I mean, how do you actually decide, a championship? Because a ship in our league, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's huge, I mean, that's your name on the belt forever, and, the last thing that I want to do is do any of my boys dirty. And I want to make sure that I am being as diplomatic as possible on this, except for when it veers in my favor. Just kidding. But no, it was generally a difficult call. But yeah, I remember that, but I think that it was the right thing to do. And, I think that you were going to win that one anyway, but it was close, but I had to make sure that I had both of you guys' consensus on it.
Yeah, credit to Kyle. He was cool about it. He's like, yeah, just give it to him. And fantasy football is weird. You never know.
Yeah,
but what do you do? It's kind of funny because in the the other league we'll talk about for our audience is the Superflex League, which is obviously Superflex, huge rosters still. And I'm the commissioner of that league. Joey was in the championship game of that league.
Yeah,
and I had to do the same thing.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
That's right.
So
you got the same exact thing.
Yeah,
so,
it was just weird.
That's right. That was so weird.
I'm hearing collusion. That's what I'm hearing.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. No, but it's fantasy football, man. It's so fun, I mean, and we were actually just talking about this a little bit ago, and the fact that these are dynasty leagues. I have a strong opinion that redraft leagues are kind of.
Well, explain what a dynasty league is first.
Well, a dynasty league is something that actually stays together. You keep your team forever.
You start out how?
Yeah. Well, you have a starter league or starter draft. And it's usually depends on how many roster spots you want to have. Usually it's a much larger roster spot. You decide on if you actually want to have any kind of taxi squad or anything like that. That's another topic altogether. But, it's generally a much larger draft. I would say no less than 22 to 25 roster spots. So if you do actually have a startup league, plan your day. I mean, because it's going to take all day. And especially if you're around as many beer drinkers as I am. I mean, because it's a lot of fun and it's a big party. We have a lot of fun with these things.
Yeah.
But it's a roster that you're going to keep forever until you actually trade or drop somebody from your roster.
Now, to be clear, I'm in the league, but I'm asking questions for our viewers might not know. So are rookies involved in this dynasty draft?
They can be, I mean, now if you're talking about a startup league, I would strongly recommend against drafting rookies unless they're like a generational talent. You want to stick with proven bona fide players. Now, every year after your startup league, if you manage to keep your league together, it's you have a rookie draft, and that's in our circumstance. We actually have 4 rounds, and you can draft whoever you want, rookies or veterans or whatever. But if you actually have gone through a startup league, then you're not going to have much meat on the bone to be able to pick up any other real players. You're going to be focusing in on the actual rookies. And if you're looking at anybody now, I bring that up because in our first rookie draft that we had, and now mind you, this is a long time ago, we had one player that actually at 110 actually picked up Marshawn Lynch. That was the funniest friggin' pick I think I've ever seen ever.
When Marshawn Lynch was a veteran, like old veteran.
An old veteran. Yeah, I mean, this guy, he'll never get over this one. But anyway, but to be fair, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We were just getting started. Now, Tony, he's going to say that he knows better.
Yeah, because he was calling us all fucking morons.
Call me Muhammad Ali of fantasy football.
but they were a lot of fun, man. I mean, so I would strongly recommend a dynasty league over a redraft league if you're wanting to keep people together. Now, you also have your best ball leagues. Now, absolutely. I'm going to hand this one over to Tony, who knows everything there is to know about best ball.
Oh, no. Well, that's true. I do everything there is to know about every league. But but best ball is just you draft it. It's fun. So everybody loves to draft, right? You draft a team for that year alone. And you do not do any trades or pickups during the season, so it's super easy to manage, right? You just have the fun of drafting, and you hope typically there's, it's a few bucks to join a draft, or if you want to get crazy, you can with money tournaments. But yeah, and you have fun drafting, and you let your team ride. So typically I'll have, 20 to 30 best ball teams a year, but it's just it's the best, because everybody loves drafting is the most fun, especially for redraft, right? Which is like Joey and I were talking earlier about. I don't even play in a lot of redraft leagues anymore. I just play in a bunch of best ball, and then I just concentrate on my dynasty leagues. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
That's right. But the best thing about best ball also is there's no set in your lineups.
Yeah.
There's no adjusting anything. But if God forbid somebody in your league in your team gets hurt or something like that, or is out for a season, you're fucked.
That's where the strategy comes in, right?
Yeah.
So I avoid very highly injured players.
Or here's another one. Be sure to, look at, when people's bye weeks are. Yep. Because if you're actually drafting 2 quarterbacks and they have the same bye week, Well, guess what? You're not starting a quarterback that week.
Or you're drafting a third.
Or you're drafting a third. Exactly. So anyway, those are just some of the things that we actually, I mean, we actually have my boy to the left of me, he actually, we work in the same office together, and we're actually in a redraft league. I let it go straight to auto draft. I didn't give a squirt of piss about it. I mean, I really didn't. I just didn't care, but
SMH.
And I actually won last year.
Yeah, and you
I don't
actually
even
won.
talk about it.
Did you get any money?
Yeah, I got money.
Did you get money?
Yeah.
God bless America.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
We won a lot.
I didn't realize
Should've
there
took
was
it
any
more
money.
serious, Joey.
Maybe I should have looked at it a little bit more.
And look, and I didn't have to wait that long either. Like the season was over, next day, got my money.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Unlike other people we know.
No, I was just saying a funny joke. But. Okay, so draft strategy though. What would you say that the strategy is? Let's just keep it with Dynasty for now. What's the draft strategy in that? Because let's hand it to Mr. Tony because he's
trying to get some intel out of me on the
Absolute-
draft on Saturday, or what's going on?
Well, first
what do
of
you
all-
mean
first of
overall
all,
draft
I
strategy?
think it's proven that my way works because I have 5, you have 1. So let's just go there.
Yeah.
Secondly, just what
Your way of drafting, because it's been terrible.
Oh,
your
has
way of
it-
getting
has
lucky
it
on
really?
trade. Hey, it's better to be
Has
lucky
it really?
than good. I always say that.
I won a Super Bowl half on roster being rookies. Come on.
Yeah, the one draft you had multiple first round picks and the greatest
Still had
draft
to
to
pick-
ever have it. So you
still had to pick
take
'em.
Fournette and McCaffrey.
Still had to pick them.
Sure, I mean you could have like a fucking infant could have.
Hold on. I got to chime in right now. This is wrecking my nerves. First of all, like you said, you actually you took advantage of one of the greatest running back classes to come out.
Whose fault is that?
Again, it's not your fault. It just happened, right? Then you trip and fell into Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Let's be real, sir.
Yeah,
You wanted to trade out of that pick.
Correct.
I did.
You
Nobody
wanted
would trade
Kyle
with me.
Pitts, and you couldn't get him. Your brain exploded. Matter fell out of your ears, and you was like, "Well, I guess."
No, I tried to trade it.
The literal words he used.
Yeah,
I tried to trade it. None of you fuckers would take the pick, the number 2.
No, because you wanted too much for it. Well, first of all, I didn't have the ammunition to actually do it, so that's one thing. But yeah, you wanted too much for it, and then nobody wanted to pay that. So it is what it is, and you had to settle for Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
I got
Anyway.
choice words, but anyway, go ahead.
Draft strategy.
Are you done? Are you done pumping yourself up here?
I'm not.
Are
I'm
you
just
done?
asking for the draft strategy.
I mean, dang,
that's it. What would a draft strategy be for a dynasty league? That's all I'm asking.
Startup or rookie?
Right, exactly.
Don't matter.
There's a couple of avenues you can take. So if you're starting out a dynasty league, you have 2 options. You can either go for the what they call it, the rookie struggle, right? Where you basically draft a lot of rookies to be the foundation of your team in the hopes that they pan out, and which will give you longevity. Or you could focus on proven player, as many proven players as possible at each position. Or you can you try to dominate one position to facilitate more trades later. So if you're talking about a super flex league, which basically means that you have the option of where you have one position to fill, where it could be either a quarterback, wide receiver, running back, or tight end. If the most prudent position you want is quarterback at that point. So you try to corner the league, as they say, by trying to grab as many good quarterbacks as possible and corner the market so that way no one else could have an advantage at that position. So there's a lot of avenues that you can take, but there's no guarantee that any one of them will work.
Yeah.
And you still have to manage your team throughout the season to make it work.
One thing that I can actually preface is the worst place that you can actually finish in a dynasty league. We're talking dynasty, right?
Uh-huh.
Is middle of the pack. That's the absolute worst you can finish, because the next year you don't get a premium pick if you finish dead middle, and and you're not competing for a championship. If you're not competing for a championship, then you're building for the future. One of the two.
Yeah, it is the worst because if you don't have a late pick, which means that you actually finished with a high, either you're a playoff team or you won a championship, and you didn't finish at the worst, so you have the best rookie pick possible.
Would you agree that if you're in a dynasty league that's already been established and going, that you really have to do your research on your picks?
Well, yeah, especially
you can't just walk in there and let.
Especially with the clowns that I'm actually in the league with. I mean, these guys, they've done their research. They've watched. But here's also the funny thing: what you also get to understand about people is how they actually draft and what they're looking for and how they actually analyze. I mean, Tony knows me all too well in the fact that I like to watch tape, and I know Rico all too well because he likes analytics.
That's partially true.
Well,
but I think, what stinks is me and Tony think too much alike.
Yeah, that's another problem.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and that's what's even more hilarious is when you two, especially you two, are actually drafting right next to each other.
Yep.
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah. It kind of forces my hand in doing things because of that. I look at a draft order and I see where you're at and I'm like, okay, either I'm going to stay there and I don't have a problem staying there, or I got to do whatever it takes to get ahead of you because I know the person that I want will not be there.
But also,
that's why Rico traded up to 103 this year?
Yep.
Oh, okay. 100. All right.
Yeah, with 2 picks. You had 2 picks ahead of me?
That's right.
Yeah, no. Dude. Like I said, I was going to try. And now, if I tried and failed, okay, fine. It is what it is. But I was like, nah, I can't sit here. Sorry.
So, Tony, what are you going to do this year, man?
I bet you want to know.
The league wants to know.
I may tell Joey he doesn't have a damn pick until the 3rd round. But I definitely ain't telling these 2 assholes.
I don't have a pick in the 1st round at all.
You don't have a 1st rounder?
I traded it to Steve for Chase Brown.
Oh, so you're right. Steve does have it.
Yeah.
This guy.
I traded Chase
that's
Brown.
worth it. That's worth it.
Oh,
I would do
yeah.
that pick right now.
For sure. I was like, man, I'll
especially after Cincinnati. Well, it didn't really take any. They didn't sign anybody. They didn't really take a running back.
They took one running back, but I don't remember the dude's name.
But they have no depth. He's secure.
Yeah. I hope we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
okay.
But we have 5 minutes. 5 minutes left. I would like to open this up to a little new segment that we talked about. It's called Kiss My Grits. Per Hater with Facts, this is one of his sayings. And basically what it is something that's annoying you or something that's going on. You just want to just say it. So I'm going to hand it over to the originator, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, I kind of already pointed it out a little bit earlier. You sparked something in me, and it just popped up. But I'll reiterate one more time. I cannot stand the New York Knicks. I hate them. You're probably thinking why? Because the hypocrisy of their hype makes no sense to me. In football context, people can't stand the Dallas Cowboys, right? And there's a very distinct reason why that is. Like, they have not had a championship season in literally 30 years. So if people don't like the fact that the Cowboys get all this hype for doing nothing, why is it that people give hype for the New York Knicks when they have not won a championship since 1973? Literally, this whole table here has not seen the New York Knicks win anything. But yet they get all the hype in the world like they are the greatest team since sliced bread. It makes absolutely no sense.
Shout out to MJ.
Correct.
Yep.
Their hype is so ridiculous. Their home arena gets credit for other teams showing up and putting their feet on their couch.
Well, I love their, last appearance in the finals.
What year was that?
It was against the Spurs. I know that.
Again, what year was that?
Oh, goodness. Oh, what year was that?
I believe I was in high school.
High school wasn't that long ago.
I think it was. I think it was like 90. I think it was like 98, 99, somewhere around there. Yeah, I was in high school.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, my Spurs destroyed them. That was awesome.
Okay, so that's your Kiss My Grits.
Yeah, they can kiss my grits.
Okay.
I hope they lose terribly, even though they won last night, but I really don't care. They're going home.
Okay, we got to see some time for some outros here. But Tony, do you have anybody that you want to say kiss my grits to?
Everybody in the Blitz League on Saturday can kiss my grits.
You want to elaborate on that, sir?
Okay, Angry Joey?
No, I think I'll elaborate a little bit more. I just despise you guys. I mean, I'm going to say the same thing on Saturday. You guys are all my enemy, and yeah, y'all can kiss my grits.
Okay, mine is to the overall league who voted against the Tush push. Kiss my fucking grits, you pussies. You can't stop a 1 yard play and you go and try to modify a rule and slip it in to left. But kiss my grits to everybody who voted against the Tush push. Okay, let's have saying that. So we're gonna wrap it up for this episode. A couple of things I want to say afterwards is like, hey, I enjoy speaking with you guys, going over these topics. It's really fun. We'll catch you next time. Joey, do you have anything you want to tell anybody?
No, sir. I'm good, man. It was a lot of fun, man.
Hater with facts?
I got nothing.
Okay.
Peace out.
All right. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you around again.